Okay. Right. So just give me a heads up on the audio. Okay. Right. Just give me a heads up on the audio. Okay. Just give me All right. So, Renee, you're hearing me. Louder than the person says, I can hear you. All right. So that means that we are good to go. Do let me know what impact the rain in the background is having. But I plan to kick off right away. It is now 10 minutes past 3. Um, and I plan to get going, and then we'll add people as they come in. So we have a few partners. One is Cariset Global Inc. And I believe that one of our colleagues would know about Edward. Um, Edward Millington. So he's a fairly well-known international cybercrime consultant. The other partner is Spexus Inc. Ronnie Greenwich. He is involved in international websites, to do websites, marketing of websites. Um, you know, they've done some excellent work with Olympus. They have pushed up the SEO and pushed up the numbers, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the two partners that we have with us this afternoon. Plan to spend about maybe 25 to 30 minutes. So I want to go through some of the basics that some individuals might be interested in knowing about. Some of you might be very new. Terry, yeah. So we're going to go through some basic stuff. We want to, first of all, answer this question of why Bitcoin? Why not continue to invest in US dollars and that sort of thing? I have some good news. I have been holding back information on a project, online project where some individuals can make money. It might not be for any and everyone. I know Renee is involved in one of these projects, and I was saying, well, I am not going to share any serious information with anyone because I value my credibility, and I'm not going to mention anything or change details until I'm pretty sure that this is legitimate. So I did receive my first check yesterday. It hit my one of my Binance accounts where I do trading. So I can say that money is in the bank. Money is in the, has come through, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. Um, I also want to talk very briefly an introduction to trading. We can talk about what is trading, what is investing, pros and cons of the two, you know. Um, and we will be answering your questions because I know there are a number of people who want to understand this thing that it's new to them. They want to understand what's going on. We'll talk a little bit very briefly about what's coming up in blockchain business. I'll also share with you about a project that we're doing with churches. We have been working with Bethel Evangelical Church in Fairfield, Rosette. We did a free Sunday Bible study program with them where we look at the question of the Bible and finances and education for young people. It was a program for young people where we want to introduce them to the Bible, the pros and cons of the Bible as far as it relates to money and investing. And we have had an offer from the Church of God at Jackson to start a similar series on the 11th of October. Right? So we can touch a little bit on that, and we can also give you an update in terms of where the market is. Now, there is one site that if you have any interest whatsoever in trading and investing that you must have on your radar, your fingertips, and that is CoinMarketCap. And I'm going to type it into the chat. And I would encourage you to bookmark it on your Google it and do a bookmark. You can go through it from time to time. So why are we talking about CoinMarketCap? Well, CoinMarketCap is a live site with all of the cryptocurrencies, live prices as they change. You can see Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB coin, all the big ones. And then you can go down to coins like XRP and other coins like that. And of course, there's the stable coins like Tether. And you can scroll right down to the first 50, the first 80, first 100. And if the other coins you have an interest in, once they're on exchanges, you will find them on CoinMarketCap. So I encourage you to do a little bit more of CoinMarketCap. I have CoinMarket, but CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap. All right. COIN. Let me just type it again. CoinMarketCap. So I'll just put it in the chat, and I would encourage you to bookmark that because it's like a go-to for anybody who's interested in cryptocurrencies and knowing what's happening with prices, you're trading, et cetera, et cetera. So really, why is it that people would want to be looking at something like Bitcoin? Well, I've done a little bit of a comparison with the US dollar, right? Because I'm arguing that Bitcoin has disrupted banking and the application of economics and finance. So we have an entirely new ecosystem that would have started back in 2008, developed in 2008, and you would have had the first Bitcoin, which would have been launched in 2009, and that would be like 5 cents, 3 cents, somewhere along there. And over time, the price of Bitcoin has reached an all-time high in March of $73,800. $73,800 was the all-time market high price for Bitcoin, which hit earlier this year in March. In effect, so why would we want to consider cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin? Why would we want to consider some of these? Why not just stay, as the central bank governor says, with the good old US dollar and some Barbados government paper, which has a return on investment of about 4.5%? Well, the US dollar is losing value at an estimated 15% annually. Bitcoin is increasing value for an investor, and we're suggesting that you can average 25% per annum return on investment over a 4-year period. So if you're an investor, you're looking at least at a 4-year period. If you're a trader, you're looking at short term. And if you are an investor and a trader, what I found has worked is that trading tends to be much safer during bull market period, which is the final year before the blow off top, and then you go back to a bear market. So the cycle for cryptocurrency, you have a bear market year, so that 1 year where it's entirely prices are going down, going down, going down, going down. Eventually, at some point in time, they will hit bottom, and then you'll have a year and a half or so of accumulation where people will begin to start accumulating and buying at the lower end. Now, knowing when to buy at the lower end and when the top is and that sort of thing, that is where the expertise comes in. And that is where you have to decide, well, are you seriously getting into this, and are you interested in educating yourself, or are you just want to play around a bit and try some stuff and, see how it goes? So in our comparison, the US dollar and Bitcoin, we are saying that the US dollar is losing value at 15% per annum, whereas Bitcoin is increasing value, and it can offer you a safe, decent return on investment over a 4-year cycle. The US dollar has an estimated, the US government has an estimated $35 trillion in debt, right? Bitcoin has no debt. The US dollar is subject to money printing, which increases the cost of living. Bitcoin, there's no money printing, and in fact, it's linked to a limited supply of 21 million Bitcoin. So you have the simple basic economics, of limited supply, large demand, price eventually will go up. But as I mentioned, there are 4-year cycles where you have bear markets, like all markets. There are times when the prices are down, and then there are times when the prices are going nowhere. It's very, 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 very boring. You can have a year and a half or so of those periods. And that's when people are very, very fearful. And that's once it's hit the bottom, that's the best time that people will want to buy Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrencies that they choose to invest in. Then you have the final year where you have the blow off. Eventually, build up and build up and blow up top. Prices will go up, keep rising. That's when you're going to be looking to make your money, depending on what your plan and strategy is. So, again, let's go back and look at the US dollar. The US dollar is actually used to, what I say, support the vulture in the middle. In other words, the middleman. So if you want to send money from one point to another point, you got to go through a bank. You got to go through a middleman. If, however, you're using blockchain technology and you're using it peer-to-peer, and say David is sending his money to Rene, they're going to send it peer-to-peer. So they're not going to go to any banks. It's going to go direct. So it's going to be quicker, faster. You're operating on a 24-hour system, so it's always up and running. You don't have to wait for the bank to open, and it's going to be it's more secure because it's got cryptography and the blockchain cryptography, etc., the math and the code, and therefore you find that it's a cheaper, safer, faster. It's a better means of transacting anything in terms of, it could be NFTs if you want to save NFTs or send NFTs, or if in most cases people want to use cryptocurrency, they might either want to secure their cryptocurrency investments, buy some and put it and store it somewhere. It could be on, say, the Bitcoin blockchain, or it could be just to transact, send it from one point to another point, send it from one point to one account, one wallet to your exchange on your account on your exchange. And you might decide you want to do some trading there, or you might want to trade and buy, and then you want to take the cryptocurrency that you have and put it on a hardware wallet, which is outside of an exchange. So there are a lot of options there, but the point is that we're making is that the US dollar is essentially on its way out, and Bitcoin is the new currency. Yeah. So the US dollar, again, it's very good, very useful for criminals and people. It's their currency of choice. Contrary to a lot of misinformation and fake news, Bitcoin is not the leading source of cybercrime and use of criminal activities and for nefarious factors. In fact, the blockchain aids the police and other security folk in identifying criminals. So it helps put criminals in jail as against US dollar, which is still the main source of currency used by criminals. All right. So for a number of those reasons, what we are finding is that Bitcoin is really the current currency of the future, and it is also something that you can look at your insurance, look at your children's future, and over time it has proven that it will also increase in value. So there's another site I'm going to share in the chat, and it's Investopedia. And I would like you to, I suggest that the same way that you're gonna, if you're serious about this thing, the same way that you're gonna go and bookmark the coin market cap, also go into Google and put in Investopedia, Bitcoin historic price chart, right? Bitcoin historic price chart, and that shows you very clearly that the Bitcoin price has always gone up. It has always gone up. Randy has mentioned in the chat that CoinGecko is also another source, yes, for information like CoinMarketCap at COINGE. Well, if you're on the YouTube channel, you will be able to see it there. Right. Okay. Fine. So we made a basic case that Bitcoin is certainly the leading cryptocurrency, is the currency of the future, and the US dollar is fading out. It's not going to just disappear, but in terms of value to the individual investor, it is losing value. And we've seen certainly this year, 2024, that all the major Wall Street firms that are involved in major international investors, companies like BlackRock with $10.5 trillion US, companies like Fidelity, companies like ARK Invest, all of these major players, about 11 of them, have bought into a Bitcoin ETF, and subsequently they have bought into a Ethereum ETF. And what they're doing is that they're selling these investments, just like how a bank, just like how a bank would sell you Boss Plus bonds. Well, they're selling, allowing individuals to invest in Bitcoin, invest in Ethereum, and of course, the idea is, expectation is that they would buy this paper, and over time the price will go up, and the individual investors would make money, and the companies like BlackRock and Fidelity would also get their cut of the pie. So we have seen these major investing firms come on, and they have skyrocketed the price for Bitcoin. And actually, that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin price went up to $73,000, $73,800 in March this year. It has subsequently come back down to around 60, 61, 62. But we have to see now whether October, some people say that October can be called October, meaning the price is expected to go up. But so far that hasn't happened, because we've had issues, for example, geopolitics with the Israelis and the Iranians. Things like that are geopolitical, and they do have an impact from time to time on the price. You never know when Iranians are going to send over several hundred of missiles or whatever, some new development. But over time, it's expected that Bitcoin will recover, and that more and more money will flow into the purchase of Bitcoin, and prices will rise. So we wait and see how October goes. September was very, very boring. We see how October goes. We see how November goes. We see how December goes. But the expectation is that we could see the Bitcoin price recover to $73,800 and push on towards $100,000. That's at least the near-term prediction. There are other folk who have much longer price prediction about when the price will taper off and at what price it will taper off. And all of those persons who would have invested already would be obviously following these developments from time to time, because they will want to know when to cash out and make some money, or whether they're going to stay in with Bitcoin and build a Bitcoin money back, for long term for their family, friends, etc., etc. So Bitcoin is definitely the number one cryptocurrency. Ethereum is number two. Solana is very, very promising. Binance Coin, BNB is another very, very promising coin. And those are the four that I tend to put my focus on for the time being. Yeah. Let's see if we can go and bring up an actual right. See if we can go and bring up an actual trading page. This is a live page. Let me see if you're seeing this screen well. This is one of my Binance accounts. And Binance is the leading exchange for trading in cryptocurrencies. All right. Let's start on a bit. All right. So we need to change this to Bitcoin. You want to look at Bitcoin and see how Bitcoin is doing. BTC, right? Enter. So let me know whether you are seeing, reasonably okay. So right now, Bitcoin's price, this is the live account on Binance. Bitcoin's price has eased back up to $62,917. And if you look at on the right-hand side, you will see that there are a couple of green bars that represent that slight push upwards in price. There's lots of information on this site, and there's no cost to set up your own account on Binance. You want to go use Binance, you want to use OKX. It's up to you to go do your research and choose which one you want to use. And today we see the price had a 24-hour high of $62,975, and there was a 24-hour low of $61,700. Right. So right now it's at $62,840, and price keeps changing. Yeah. So the two things you can do. There's three things actually. There's the investing, there's the trading, and there's the mix of investing and trading. Investing is what you want to do. You want to get in at a lower price, and you want to ride your investments and add up to a point where you've made a significant profit. Then you can decide, depending on what you're investing in, whether you will stay in it for the long term, which means you really have to have the fortitude to see the price all the way crashing down and to wait another year, 2.5, or whatever for it to go back up. And people recognize that because Bitcoin has a limited amount. In fact, much of the Bitcoin has already been purchased, and all the big companies are now buying the Bitcoin. People will see Bitcoin as a store of value, whereby it's like something like a house. You invest in a house, but you're not looking to necessarily sell that house the day after you have bought it. You're looking to hold on to that house, improve that house, and see the value of that house increase. And then you can see it as an investment for your children and family in years to come. So that's one approach to Bitcoin. Or you could just buy it whatever lowest price you can get it at, and accumulate and dollar cost average and add and buy more from time to time every month, and then rate it up to as near as possible before the price starts to come all the way back down, and then you can take your profit. So that's essentially how some people would do it. People would have a mix of investment and trading, so they might be looking to invest for long term and hold, and others would want to do some trading, especially when there is a bull market on, because that is the safest time to trade. And there are two types of trading that we can talk about. One is kind of like gambling, where you're doing futures trading and shorting and all that sort of stuff, which we don't recommend, and I'm not going to get into today. But the safest way really is to invest at a price that's low and have the fortune to wait for the price to go up and come back down and then go up and come back down, etc., etc. So you see, the price now is $62,773. But if you're an investor, you're not really going to follow what the price is necessarily on a day to day, and keep your head in the screen all the time. You don't need to do that because you're investing for a 4-year cycle. So you're investing to build wealth over a period of time. But if you get the skills and the talents and invest in your technical analysis and all the tools, then when you have a bull market cycle, when the bull market cycle is definitely taken off, then you might find a coin like, say, Solana, where you might buy and sell and make some profits and reinvest and keep doing that. And that is very, very possible, because I do recall a few years ago when Ethereum was down to $300, and it was actually able to ride Ethereum's price all the way up to 4,000, 3,000, $4,800. It went up to all-time high of $4,800. Ethereum is now at 2,446. Binance Coin has gone to as high as $627, but in the past it's now at $567.21. That's quite promising. And Solana is now at 146. I actually did buy some Solana at 135. But I'm looking at, if I buy some more Solana, I'm really honestly looking at buying it and seeing it right up to $400 or $500, whatever the highest price I can get. And I probably want to sell a good piece of Solana. So everybody has to have their own investment or trading style, and it's important to sit down and have somebody to get some good advice on it. But you have to also be comfortable that this is the future, that cryptocurrency is the future, and that there's some of these really good cryptocurrency coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum for sure that have a lot of future in them, and do research and know why it has this information. So you can either get that information through education, or you could go and do your own thing and do your own research and see how you arrive at how you want to design your financial toolkit for the future. You might decide that you want to set up a cryptocurrency index fund. I want to put in over time so many thousands of dollars or whatever, and I'm going to put in so many percentages in these areas, in these particular coins. And that is really where you're investing, and investing for the long term. Yeah. Right. So if you're actually up to speed in terms of trading, one of the things you can do is looking at trading within channels. So you have the price that's going to hit the bottom. Price could come down to, say, you will see the candles and you see how they can, they'll come down to a certain point or certain points, and then they eventually go back up, and then they go up to a certain point. So the points of the lines that you can actually draw with the lines of support, lines of resistance. So you have a channel whereby the price is going to hit a certain point at the bottom, which is a point of support. Then it's going to go up and it's going to hit a point of resistance, and they're going to start coming back down. Now that is fine and dandy if it's trading within a channel, but then it could eventually break out of that channel and then create a new channel. Yeah. So all these things are kind of basic for those persons who want to get into actual trading, and it takes time to learn this stuff. Or some people may just decide, well, I'm looking at more for the future, and I want to have an investment plan and an investment strategy. Right? So I have a project I was working on, and I mentioned it to some individuals, and I did not give up much information because I was saying, let me just wait until I'm pretty sure that this is not a scam before I start talking to people about it. And I'm happy to report that as of yesterday, I received my first check. So what it involved was an investment of about $270 US. And yesterday I was able to draw down $300 US minus a fee of $7. So I actually have $323 in new money on the same account here. The same account, the same Binance account. Yeah. So that's working. At least I've got money and I've made back the money that I invested initially. So what does that involve? Well, it involves about 7 minutes of your time every day. You go to the site, you watch 5 videos. Some of them are just a few seconds, and others might be less than a minute. 5 videos, that's your quota. You have no more than 5 videos a day. And after you've watched those videos, you then do a screenshot, which will show you that you have completed your assignment for that day, your work for that day. And you will post that on a WhatsApp channel saying, I'm finished. This is a copy of the work I did today. And you would have accumulated $10 US for that 5 minutes or so of your time. And $10 by $30 by 30 days is still $300 US. But as I mentioned, you then have to deduct your first investment, which is your first and only investment, which would be, it could be $269, $270 US. And therefore, after they've taken off the $7 for the transaction fee to send you the funds, then you can see that you're still making some money in the first month. The second month, now, $10 by 30 days, $300. You get all of that $300 minus the $7. So it's the second month that you begin to make some money, and then you will probably be allowed to do about 6 months, and then they will review, what sort of progress you're making, your interests, whether you're getting other people involved, what are you doing. If you're comfortable promoting that as a genuine, legitimate project that could earn money for people, what sort of progress you're doing in that area. So a question that you're always going to ask is, okay, so these folk are offering you an opportunity to make some money, but how are they making money? Because they have to be making money for you to make money, right? Or for you to make a piece of the money that they're making. So the project that I am currently involved with, it's called Creative Alliance. And what they've done is that they have signed off on about 35 contracts with companies like YouTube, these companies that have videos and what's not. That have videos and need to get their channels boosted by numbers. People want to have millions and millions of viewers so that they can monetize their YouTube channels and other channels with the content that they're putting on a daily basis. So they would make money, and they have contracts with a firm like Creative Alliance. And Creative Alliance then has individuals like myself and others who get paid to go and watch these same videos that are on these YouTube channels. So everybody's going to make money. The YouTubers are going to make some money. The creative alliances are going to make some money. You're going to make some money. And that model seems to make some measure of common sense to me. So it doesn't look right now to be a Ponzi scheme. And the critical thing about it is that once you made back your initial investment, then as people will say, everything else is gravy. If you make another 300 minus $7 the next month, and the third month, and the fourth month, and the fifth month, and the sixth month, then you're doing reasonably okay. And there are a number of individuals who would want to be able to make in that little extra piece of cash, to pay for that odd cell phone bill or that odd utility bill. Yeah. So I'm just sharing that with you. I'm not selling anything. If you're interested, you can always contact me directly. And then I can share some information on how you can get involved. But I'm not selling this on this program. I'm just saying this has been my experience. I've made back some of my money, so I'm on top of what my investment was. I'm continuing. I'm looking next month to make probably almost 290 something dollars US, right? Okay, so that is that. And I said, I'm not gonna spend more time discussing that. I just want to look at sharing with you a possible opportunity. Some people might be interested, others might not be interested. Um, Others might not be interested. So, a couple of things I want to wind up, and then we can get into some questions. First of all, we have, as I mentioned, we have a project with churches where we have Bible studies, like 3 Sundays, three presentation series, whereby we talk to young people about money. Same way we just discussed US dollar versus cryptocurrencies. We talk about money, we talk about the cost of living, the rising cost of living, the need to get into find alternative new forms of business. I will probably begin to mention the Creative Alliance opportunity as a possible consideration. Things like how can maybe a group of family get together and get involved with the Creative Alliance opportunity project, and perhaps they can contribute more to their church. Churches need to make money, and they need to have projects. Like at Church of God in Jackson, they have a program where they provide breakfast to school children at Sharon Primary during school days. So that's an excellent type of program that maybe they could do with some investment. All right. We're doing a number of things. We have blockchain business program, which is an educational program. Again, we are always looking for advertising and partnerships for our streaming, but we're also looking for advertising things like blockchain business. It comes over every Monday and Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. during drive time. It's if you don't get it on Friday, then check it on the following Monday. It's repeated in the following day. You're going to get a lot of news and information about what's happening in the area of technology and finance, but we also raise other areas and concerns. For example, there's a major issue related to trade and the unfairness of trade with the OECS and how they're taking advantage of developing countries. And I might be doing something on that. So you'll find on that program, we bring you news that we get from around the world that you don't get anywhere in Barbados, radio, television, and we bring that news and information to you, and we try to put it in some sort of analytical context so you can think about how it can relate to you and your family, how you can benefit from it, and how the country could benefit from it. Yeah. So that's blockchain business. Voice of Barbados, Friday, 5 o'clock, Monday, 5 o'clock. And that radio program goes to thousands of people. And it's on technology, new developments in technology, what's happening in the world of finance, money, things like that. What is Bhutan doing, for example, and how they're mining Bitcoin and how well they're doing, so sort of progress they're making. What is El Salvador doing? What is impacting negatively on the cost of living and driving the cost of living globally? What's happening with Federal Reserve? It's a wide-ranging program, and we invite you to listen to it either on Monday or Friday. We talked about what we're doing with the churches. We're also looking to have a seminar either late January or early October, and this is going to be a paid event. So people have to, at some point in time, determine whether they want to get into this seriously, and that education has a cost, and they're willing to invest in themselves, or whether they just want to get freebies and watch some videos on YouTube and hope that's good enough for them. I mean, it's up to the individual to decide how far they want to get in something, how much time they want to invest in it. And the more time you invest, the more experience you have. And it doesn't, it's not a 7-day wonder. It's taken us close to 8 years now of grinding work day and night to be able to get to a position where we can actually design a cryptocurrency index fund that is going to turn over and make money for you, at least based on our results, either for family, individuals, for government, if government want to do it, for corporations, and a wide cost range of people who have disposable income. But you clearly have to have money that you're not going to use for another year or whatever, that just sitting down there. And it makes no sense keeping money on a bank because it's going to lose value. All right. So I'm going to begin to wind up there. Right. So Rene mentioned in the chat that he's doing something similar and he's getting $900 a month US, I believe that is, Rene. And obviously he has to invest a whole lot more money. And there are different scenarios in terms of what these things offer. Yeah, so Rene is making some money. That's great. $900 a month, Rene. I'm sure that is working out quite well for you and your family. Right. And Crypto City is saying that this could be used as a side hustle to invest in crypto without using your own funds. And that's an excellent point, because we did get the $300, $323, yeah, because we withdrew $330 US, but there's a fee of $7 US. So we got $323 US, and that money is actually in the form of a stable coin, which is sitting on my account right now. So Crypto City is saying, well, you can use that as a side hustle to invest in cryptocurrency. So he's quite correct. I can now take the $323 that I got US from the Creative Alliance project for the last month, and I could invest in Solana. What's Solana's price now? Solana's price is now $146, right? So if I believe that Solana is going to go up to about $400 US, I could go and take some of that money and put it into Solana, right? No problem at all, right? So that's an interesting point, and that's under consideration. So in other words, you could take the money and pay some bills, or you can reinvest that money and make even more money. Right, but Rene says you don't want to show similar reasons. Okay, fine, that's okay. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the Creative Alliance proposal. As I said, if you are interested, contact me directly. Contact me with DM, and we can look at it that way. Could pass on information. Yeah. More questions. What are some of the other questions that I'm seeing there? Okay, so essentially what we're saying is that as we see it, and I want to share with you some information that a company called the experience of a company called MicroStrategy. Chairman of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is an American software. Back in 2020, the chief executive officer and chairman, Michael Saylor, he was like, he wasn't too clear really what this Bitcoin thing is. Is it just a Ponzi scheme, like some people are saying, who haven't done any research whatsoever? There's some unfortunate people who just, because perhaps their operations are threatened or likely disrupted. People involved in the banking, people involved in mutual funds, people involved maybe even in selling bonds. If in fact you can design your own cryptocurrency index fund that's going to earn you an average of 25% per annum over 4 years. And I'm saying that is very, very doable. I mean, why would you put money into a mutual fund that is struggling to give you even 5% return on your investment? I mean, we have to look at our money. We have to do our research. We have to understand what we're doing. We have to think about our families. And our friend Charles, who is online right now, I keep using his daughter. He has a daughter who is 7. And when she was 6, Charles pumped, he went through all the technical stuff with her. He showed her how to set up accounts, how to trade, how to invest, how to take money off an exchange and put it on a wallet. All this wonderful stuff that no politician, very few politicians understand in Barbados. And, so whenever I go around and I talk to young people about investing and trading and the opportunities, I put up a little photograph that Charles has sent me of his daughter. I mean, she's just 7 years old. I mean, she ain't ready to hit common entrance yet, At 6 years old, she was doing all this wonderful stuff. I mean, this is where we need to invest our time in our children and young people, get them to understand what money is, problems with money, problems with the US dollar, understand a little bit about what cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum are, and give them the technical skills and knowledge, and they will run with it. There are a lot of increasingly more opportunities that these young people could be making money from a very, very early age, because it calls for a certain amount of common sense, which they have. They're bright children. And it calls for a certain amount of technical skills using a computer, which they have, using a cell phone, which they have, and this is the path for them to see how they can earn some money and become entrepreneurs at a very early stage, and then develop into many, many other areas. So Charles and Haley, I really have thanked them, because we have been using Haley as a really a prime example of what young people can do from a very early age, as early as 6 years old, right? Somebody's asked me about prices, so when we're going to break out price ranges, Renee. Well, Renee, honestly, the past historic data suggests that October could be a very good year. November, possibly December as well. But you might remember from our discussion, I started get my portfolio up and running like 18 months ago, or more than 18 months ago. So I was buying Bitcoin at maybe $20,000, $22,000, right? So I'm only going to think about that when I see Bitcoin heading to $100,000, all right? When can it break out? Well, there are very, very promising signs that there's growing global liquidity, as long as the Federal Reserves continue to print money. They will be putting more money into the system. People will have more money in their hands and be looking to see what can we do with it. And some of them will be buying cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and BNB, and given all the impetus that we've seen from the BlackRocks and the Fidelities and all these guys who spot ETFs and Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs and that sort of thing, we haven't really seen any bit really in terms of FOMO from the retail sector, the retail people like you and I, RNI people, and we're the ones that have been driving this price cycle since 2009, and certainly starting up with 2011, 15, that sort of thing. So we can't predict the future, but one thing that I think Renee, you and I agree with is to buy a little, invest some, and have some sort of a plan, so that you're targeting. If you're getting Bitcoin now at $2,000, if it goes to $100,000, you can work out the numbers. You can plan for that, or you can determine whether you want to invest in Bitcoin as a long-term value. If Ethereum is now, as we look at it, Ethereum is now 2,446, and you're looking to Ethereum to go to say $5,000, then you can work the numbers. You can work the numbers and you can determine what you want to do in terms of how much money you want to make. But you need to be keeping tabs in terms of when the bull market really kicks off. When the bull market really kicks off, then you need to keep tabs on that, because you don't want to be caught with the price hitting the top and then coming all the way back down, and then you're back to square one again. All right, and that's very, very possible. So for those newcomers, I would say, honestly, my experience over the last 8 years is that yes, we have made some mistakes, but we have not lost a lot of money from those mistakes. We have learned from those mistakes. And I can tell you that when Bitcoin gets up to about $67,000 or so, our cryptocurrency index fund is comfortably over 400% in profit. We say that again. When Bitcoin hits around $67,000, $68,000, $66,000, $67,000, somewhere around there, our cryptocurrency investment fund, the valuation of what we invested is up over 400%. So yeah, you're not getting in as we got in about 18 months ago when Bitcoin was $22,000. But are you going to wait until it goes to $90,000 or $100,000 and decide you want to get in, like some people do? Some people just getting at those high prices, and then they'll get wrecked. You know, they just panic and lose money. Right. So Renee Diamond to talk a little bit about dollar cost averaging and doing your own research. So dollar cost averaging essentially is what we would have done. Let's say when just after January last year, when the Bitcoin price was at $16,500, we would have started accumulating and buying slowly bits and pieces, $300 US here, $250 US there. Maybe every month we look to buy a piece and slowly accumulate the purchases and the valuation of the amount of money that you're investing. And we would have looked at coins like Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and to some extent Binance Coin, because I am a very conservative, careful sort of individual. I am not one to do a lot of gambling. I've done some experimentation with futures trading, and I found that you can make some money, but you can also lose some money. And futures trading is difficult, even with some technical analysis and idea. You still need to be able to figure out how the market is going to change. The market can change on you suddenly. You can just get wrecked. Yeah. So dollar cost averaging, the different forms of dollar cost averaging. The dollar cost averaging where you decide, well, okay, I want to put in. Let's say you want to put in, say, $5,000 US between now and early next year start. You could put in, say, maybe $500 US every month, or whatever you want to put in. Or you could wait until there are major dips and then buy at the dips. But essentially, dollar cost averaging, whatever methodology you're using, is that you're gradually adding and buying and adding, and you're not selling stuff. You're just accumulating, buying and accumulating, because you're working towards getting a certain amount of money involved, so that if you do decide that you want to sell at whatever profit you can make between now and the top of the bull market, then you're in a position that you have X amount of money that you've invested in the currencies that you've invested in that are going to make money for you. Then you decide what you want to do. You want to sell some, sell all, whatever you want to do, it's fine. All right. So that's dollar cost averaging, and that is a very basic rule that we use for those individuals who want to invest. And I would advise you, honestly, the best thing to do really is get some sort of consultancy, peer consultant, advise somebody to advise you and say, well, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how much you want to put in, and have a plan. You need to have a plan of what you're going to invest over time. you can figure out how much money you can make over that time as well, and determine what it is you want to do. So dollar cost averaging is a very established, advised, recommended method of building up your cryptocurrency holdings once you determine which ones you want to do, and accumulating and eventually making profit. Because the whole idea at the end is to make decent, sizable profit, far more than what you would get from, say, a mutual fund. All right. Do your own research. We always tell people we are not financial advisors. Don't take anything that we say as financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are very, very explosive. They can be very volatile. You can lose a lot of money, and therefore you need to do your own research. But what does doing your own research really mean? Because if you don't know where to go to get the information, then saying do your own research is just like saying do your own research, right? So I just shared with you the CoinMarketCap site. I just shared with you the Investopedia chart, historic Bitcoin price. You could go look at that. But then even when you want to do your research now on CoinMarketCap, you need to know where to go and what areas to look at and understand what those areas are about. So you want to look at things like market cap. Market cap is a very, very interesting category. It helps. Let's say you know, if you can follow and see that Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana's market cap has been increasing by X amount over so many months or years or whatever, and at what point they're at, the more market cap a cryptocurrency has, it means the less amount of money you're going to make, say on a monthly basis from that coin, unless it just takes off tremendously, right? Now, a mid-cap coin or a coin that is far lower in price, let's say, for example, look, let's compare Solana and Bitcoin, right? So we know we're saying that Bitcoin right now is $2,769. Solana is $146.04. Yeah. So if I wanted to trade short term and make quicker returns and more returns, I would probably go with Solana because Solana has a lower price. So if Solana was to shoot up from, say, price right now is $146.04. Let's say I was buying Solana, and eventually I just use Solana to trade with and make some money. And I'm willing to have the patience and wait for Solana to go to $200, $250, $300. Then you are engaging in something that I fancy and that I will do when the prices are clearly going up on an upward trajectory. They're going to come back down, but they're still going to go up. That's called, that's a form of trading where you are actually trading over a period of time. So that period of time could be weeks, could be a month, it could be several days, and we call that trading swing trading. Swing trading. And if you really develop the skills and the interests and the talents, swing trading in a bull market, as I said earlier, can be quite an interesting tool for you. And we also recommend that you use compound interest. So in other words, rather than just getting us some profits and taking off the profits, put back in the profits and make more money. You have more money to trade with and you have more profits to make, you know. So that is where compound interest comes in, right? Remember Einstein's eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. That's where compound interest could come in. So for example, if I had let's say I put in the $323 USDT in Solana, whatever Solana can get for that, I can then wait until it goes up to $200. and take some profits. And maybe it might come back down again and they buy at a lower price, and then it goes up to $250 and they take some more profits. You know, and they accumulate more and more profits. When it comes back down, they buy it back again and they sell it at a higher price. So you're slowly what they call going up an escalator. Swing, you know, you're doing swing trading and you're like going up an escalator. You're going to go up and up and up, and when it comes down, you buy back again and go up the escalator, ride the escalator, and come back down, and you take your profits and keep growing that bag of coins. And then some of those profits you could then say, well, okay, I've got free coins now. Therefore, why don't I put some of those free coins into buying some Bitcoin? Because then buying free Bitcoin, right? Because you made profits, you've got profits, and whatever you price to buy Bitcoin at, it is free Bitcoin, because Bitcoin you would have purchased from profits, right? So there are a lot of skills, there are a lot of technical analysis tools that you would need to learn and understand. There is a cost, so you have to decide whether you want to invest in your education or not. One of the positive things from cryptocurrency is that we do believe that the cost of it is going to continue to rise. We saw the Federal Reserve lower the interest rates last month. When the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates, it means that there's more that you can buy. The interest rates being lower, it means that people are attracted to buy. They can buy more with their money because the interest rates are lower. But it's also an incentive for Bitcoin, because people will then also look at saying, well, I've got some more money. Fed is printing some more money. Let me go and buy some more Bitcoin. Let me do like Michael Saylor is always on YouTube talking about how his Bitcoin strategy has really worked for him and his company, his shareholders, and how they're doing so very well. And I can't believe what Michael Saylor is saying, because MicroStrategy is a publicly registered company, which means that they have to disclose the audited reports on their month-to-month accounts. Yeah, so a guy like Michael Saylor isn't going to go and say that. Plus, you can go look and see what they're doing on the stock markets and how their stock prices are doing and going up and that sort of thing. So it calls for research. You work too hard for your money. If you're not willing to put in time to do your research, if not willing to pay to get the education, then perhaps it's not for you. But I'm simply saying that this is a huge opportunity for families. This is a huge opportunity for individuals, corporations, and companies. And unfortunately, you're not going to find a lot of companies coming with these sort of ideas to you. So you have to get involved in WhatsApp groups and get some of this free education that we're offering for our channel, and see if this is something you want to do. No, I have not seen any questions from my good friend from Goddard Enterprises. Terry, do you have any questions before I go off? I think I want to start a wind up maybe in the next 8 months. We've been here for quite some time. We've been here at 3 o'clock. Just after 3:10. It's now hour we've been going, and I am willing to stay on until 4:20 and take another 8 questions or 8 minutes or so in questions, if I can be of any value to you. David said he wants to call me direct. I don't know. Hi Terry. Has anything been useful? Is there any queries or questions you have? Just a few. Go right ahead and just drop them into the chat, and I'll try and get through all of them before I wrap up. You can hit me with them one by one. That's great. Okay. So we're happy to share with you some of our research materials, some of our charts, some of our data, so that you can see the evidence, right? The evidence that's there. Okay, so question Terry's asking is, as a newbie, Do I need a USD account? Well, to buy cryptocurrency, you need an account on an exchange. I like, as usual, we ask you to do your own research, and you can use CoinMarketCap, and you can go there to the exchanges, and you go and find out what are the leading exchanges. You can see the volumes, how many volumes in different exchanges, and you can figure out which are the ones that are really the leading exchanges. What you will find is that with the leading exchanges, they're much more secure. In other words, they have systems in place that in the event that there's some sort of a scam or hack or whatever, your money is still going to be safe. And I can personally vote for that. So you need to get an account on an exchange, and I would recommend, I like Binance. I have two on Binance, but you can also look at OKX. To set up an account on OKX or Binance is free. But you may need at some point in time to do some verification. So you need to be able to have some information like, driver's license information, things like that, so that they know. So because these exchanges have been under a lot of pressure from regulators, and therefore they're using verification as part of your sign up. There's some exchange, of course, that you might not need to do verification. It's called KYC, know your customer. Just like how the banks need to get your proof of address, maybe your ID information, that sort of thing. It's something similar to that, Terry. So set up an exchange, account on exchange is free. And that is something that I would suggest that you do. And even if hopefully if you're ready to start some investing, if not, you can still start to learn the ropes of some of these things. Yeah. Can I move money between crypto and real, meaning US dollars? Of course. So there are a couple of ways you can do it. There are always people, as I mentioned earlier, I have on my account now 323 USDT. A USDT is a stable coin. So how can I get a stable coin? And if I wanted Barbados dollars, then I can look around in some of these groups. You need to get in some of these groups, good groups, look for good groups, and find individuals who want to buy your USDT. So let's say that you actually did send money to and fund your exchange. You did some cryptocurrency trading. You made some profits. You maybe you might have got some Solana or Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever. You made some profits there, and decided, okay, good, I've got, I invested $1,000, $3,000 US or whatever, and I now have $5,000 US, and I want to cash that out. How do I do that? Well, you find somebody who wants to buy your USDT, and there are people who will want to buy your USDT because they're like you. They want to go and put their money on an exchange and do some trading, and they need USDT to do that. So you could sell them, actually, Terry. You could actually say, all right, but I have 200 USDT, I have 300 USDT, I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to sell it to you at a interest rate of 5%. So you pay me 300 USDT, 300 US dollars equivalent, Barbados dollars, which is $600, and put a 5% fee on top of that, and I'll send you USDT, and you send me the Barbados money, and that's one way of doing it. Now, the other side, of course, is how do you get your funds onto your exchange after you set up your exchange. So then you go in these WhatsApp groups, you look for 1 or 2 people who are recommended as authentic, genuine people. You could talk to people like myself or Renee, and then you can do a similar thing. You have your Barbados dollars. They may charge a fee or they may not charge a fee, but usually they're going to be some sort of a fee, at least 5%. You pay them the X amount of $100, $1,000, or whatever it is that you want to buy, plus the fee, and then they will send your funds as USDT to your account address, and you would give them the Barbados dollars. All right, so that's basically how it's worked. It's what we call over the counter, whereby you know somebody, honest people, you're either selling your profits in USDT to them at a profit, or you are buying USDT from them at a fee, which they will then send that USDT to your account, and then you do your trading on that. I hope that helps. Can I move money between crypto and I think I answered that question. Right. You said, Terry, what's used is the cost of trading. I'm not clear what that is. Oh, what is the cost of trading? Yes. But if you're on Binance and you own Binance Coin, you'll find that your trades are going to be a lot cheaper and cost a whole lot less. But trades are not, I mean, in terms of the sort of profits that you're looking to make, the fees are not going to be horrendous. I mean, let's say you're looking to make a profit of, say, 10%, right? You want to make 10% profit. And then the cost of the fee for you to buy and sell is going to be contextually negligible, right? But of course, you'd have to look at it. We'd have to sit down and look at it, and so you get the actual numbers and you get a better feel of what the fees are. But fees are there. You go to the exchange and they will tell you what the fees are. You can search and find out what those fees are, so you know what the fees are before you buy and you sell. One last question, Terry. I see Renee asking some hot wallets versus cold wallets. I don't want to get into that today. I would like to give Terry or anybody else one last question. Terry, you have like one last question? All right. So let me sum up. The US dollar is on its way out. It's not going to collapse tomorrow, but the pressure of the challenges that the Federal Reserve has is that on one hand, they have to continue to print money. When you put more money and print more money and put more money into the system, it is going to drive up the cost of living, but it's also going to benefit people who invest in cryptocurrency because they have more money to play with. All right. If the interest rates are pushed up, as we saw over the last year and a bit, that is going to create a constraining factor for those persons who want to get into cryptocurrency. But now we see that the Federal Reserve has been, they came down by 50 basis points, which shocked a lot of people. That's a very positive thing for cryptocurrencies, yeah, Bitcoins and Ethereums, maybe Solanas, right? So hit the thumbs up before you guys leave. Okay. So I went through a number of ways in which Bitcoin, for example, used as a standard bearer, has considerable benefits, both in a long-term basis. We have charts and data on Investopedia. Encourage you to go look at those. But we also have seen how companies like MicroStrategy have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, so millions of dollars in returns on investment, and how major companies, corporations like BlackRock, $10.5 trillion in investment, and 11, many of these major investment companies globally are buying into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So these guys are not stupid. They're not going to be putting their money into something that is a Ponzi scheme where it's going to fall flat. These guys do the research, and I'm saying that the same way a guy like MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor can make money, you and I can make money by call for education. The more educated you are, then the lower your risk. The least educated you are, then the greater your risk of losing your money and your investing. And you have to decide, is investing in your education really worth it? And are you willing to pay for it? Or you do your own research and the cookie crumbles as it is. All right, Terry, I see that you're good. Thank you. We are in contact on WhatsApp. You can always follow up with me. Allison, if you're coming to the end of the fiat money area, how do you see Barbados being able to transition from fiat to Bitcoin? What do you envision that process would look like? Allison, that's a nice, wonderful discussion, a very long discussion, but I'm not going to start that discussion at 4:23. I think I would definitely like to wind down. Um, so unless there's any one burning question, I know Terry is good, and he can always contact me on WhatsApp and follow up. I haven't seen Dr. Glenda in, but I'll try and follow up with her. Alison, we can maybe look at some of those questions in next Sunday and do a follow up. Um, David Strawn, yes, you can get back to me. We're on WhatsApp if you're interested. But instead, we really need to get people to understand the value proposition here, outstanding value proposition. If you're not at that point, then it's no point investing, because you have to be convinced and you have to understand that what you are putting your money in and how you're going to put your money into cryptocurrency can work for you and your family and your corporation. And the potential is definitely there to earn a whole lot more than 5% per annum return on investment. So I am going to wind up. I just want to thank everybody who came on board today. It seems that we made some progress. Allison, I got a smile from her, and also Charles, I got a thumbs up. Charles, nice to have a little conversation with Haley sometime soon. All right. So everyone, take good care. Feel free to message me on WhatsApp any burning questions. We can try and see if we can have another program next week, and I can plan it and see if we can have a very, very interesting program. Feel free to contact me directly if there's anything at all that you found of interest on this program. If you found anything of interest you want to follow up, feel free to do that. Let me just say that we do have a conference we want to have late January or early next year. And if you definitely serious about investing in your education and you're definitely serious about seeing how you can benefit from this opportunity or any opportunities that we have touched on, and we're going to raise other opportunities, just feel free to contact me. All right. So have a blessed day. I see a UE grad. Hi, Laura. How are you doing? Very interesting discussion I have here from a UE grad. Again, feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp, and I'll be only too happy to provide you with any information. Thanks a lot, Terry. Thanks, everyone. Do have a blessed day, and I'm going to hit the end stream now. Enjoy your week.